Caliph sat hunched on his usual bar stool, glaring into his salt water. This dive, cheap, dingy, and mercifully quiet, was his haven after years of thankless maintenance work on this rusting station. 5 years of fixing everyone's problems had him eyeing retirement like a starving predator. He grumbled, addressing the barkeep. "Salt shot." The barkeep snorted. "You know it's too early. You've got to wait an hour." Caliph's glare darkened. "Come on. Nobody's inspected this joint in years." "Fine, but don't whine to me when you're dried out like an old sponge." With a sly motion, the barkeep poured the shot, sliding it over. Caliph downed it in one smooth gulp, hissing as the burn hit his throat. "I needed that," he muttered, and the bar returned to its usual lull. Not far away, a group of excitable youngsters chattered loudly. Caliph ignored them until one word cut through his fog: human. His ears pricked up. Their jabbering continued. "There's a human ship at the docks. I want to see it. They never come this far into our space. Let's go now." Before they could bolt, Caliph slammed his glass down. "Don't." The word came out sharper than he intended, but it froze them. He sighed. "For your own sanity, don't mess with the human." One of them sneered. "What makes you the expert, old man?" Caliph leaned back, cracking his neck. "When I was younger, I worked with humans. A mining station out near the borders. I've seen things you don't want to see. Trust me when I say they're lunatics. Crude, unpredictable maniacs. We stay in our territory, they stay in theirs. It's better that way. Why do they hate us so much?" Another asked, curiosity dripping from their tone. "Because they think we're too literal." A third piped up, confused. "Too literal? What other way is there? That's the million-credit question, isn't it?" Caliph said bitterly. "What did they mean by that?" Caliph sighed. "Fine. You really want to know?" One of them called us stiff-necked aliens who can't hold a normal conversation. "But our species has the most flexible necks in the known galaxy," a young alien protested. "We can turn our heads completely backward." "I know. What did the humans say when you told them that?" Caliph grimaced. He passed his hand over his head and said whoosh. "Whoosh. Yeah. Then he said it went over my head." A puzzled silence settled over the group. "But nothing went over your head," one of them finally said. "You would have noticed." "Exactly. I even reviewed the security footage, visible and invisible spectrums. Nothing." When I told the human, he just said, "Jesus, these aliens," and walked off. "Who's Jesus?" "No clue. There wasn't anyone named Jesus on the crew manifest or the station." The youngsters exchanged baffled looks, but their curiosity had been stoked. "Do you have more stories?" "Plenty. But you won't like them." A collective, eager yes filled the bar. Caliph smirked. "All right. Once, a human male tried to mate with me." Shock rippled through the crowd. "But that's biologically impossible." "No shit. I was cleaning my slug thrower, a damn fine piece of craftsmanship, by the way, when a human walked by. He saw it, asked to hold it, and I let him. He stared at it like it was the love of his life and said, 'Fuck me, this is a beauty.'" The group recoiled in confusion. "He wanted to mate with your weapon?" "That's what I thought." I must have looked horrified because he shook his head, gave it back, and walked off like I'd broken his heart. The bar erupted into uneasy laughter. "Any other stories?" Caliph's expression darkened. "This one's the worst. There was a human who thought one of his toes had committed an unspeakable act with his own mother. So, he abused it." "What?" "We had to share dorms after their heater broke. In the middle of the night, this lunatic kept smashing his foot against the doorframe, cursing one specific toe. The third time, he screamed, 'Motherfucker. Why always the same toe? I swear I'll cut you off.'" Stunned silence followed. Before anyone could respond, a ship inspector stumbled into the bar, her face pale and vacant. The barkeep frowned. "What happened to you?" She downed a shot of salt water before whispering, The human wants me to kill her and put her smuggled pet on her corpse. What? Caliph barked. I found an illegal octopus in her quarters. When I said I had to confiscate it, she just said over my dead body. Caliph buried his face in his hands. Idiots. The lot of them.